Hey Final Fam, so I'm back and I'm going to be talking about the movie Talk to Me. Now I recently saw this movie in theaters and I had a lot to say about it. However, I don't want to give you too many spoilers, but there will be a couple of spoilers, so you've been warned. Now I remember when I saw the trailer for Talk to Me, I was definitely intrigued and I wanted to check it out. Now I'm going to tell you that I felt that the film was a little slow in the beginning, but don't discount it just yet. It actually gets really good, and it's interesting to see how the character maneuvers through this other side or through her ghostly encounters. I also liked how some of the characters go from being trusted and then not trusted or believed in certain scenes. So that to me made it more real and significant in the character arcs and their development. I of course also enjoyed that Mia, being an African American, was the main character of this movie. We rarely see a lot of black women headlining scary movies, so this was refreshing to see, and of course I enjoyed it. I honestly think foreign films have a lot more wiggle room when it comes onto scares. With the US, there are a lot of things that go into movies that have to get cut on the editing room floor. Now, overseas movies tend to push the envelope more with scares. Now, Talk to Me was released in October of 2022 in Australia, and it was brought to the States and premiered in July of 2023. Now, Talk to Me is one of those scary movies that creeps in and settles inside of your soul. Now, the movie's premise is about a young girl named Mia. She's 17 years old, she's in high school, and she has a few friends. However, she's dealing with the frustrations and sadness of grief and loss. She recently lost her mother and she's trying to find a healthy outlet. Her and her best friend decide to go to a party. And this party wasn't just drinks and hanging out with friends. What they did for fun was actually take an embalmed hand and conjure spirits from the other side. How they did this was hold on to this embalmed hand, and for 90 seconds they were challenged to hold onto the hand and say the words, "Talk to me." In that moment, whatever spirit was on the other side would then flow into the person holding the hand's body, and the spirit will be able to communicate with others in the room. Now, this makes things dangerous because kids were using this possession as a pastime or for fun, shits and giggles. As always, if you enjoy videos like this, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so this video can get out to others. Thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to stick around to the end of this video so you can see other movie reviews that I've done and also different types of scary videos. So this embalmed hand, also wrapped in plaster, was definitely something that channeled all these spirits. Now this begins a battle with the living and the dead, because the dead who possess the living will definitely want to stay after the 90 seconds have passed, and that's what makes it dangerous and deadly. Now Mia, dealing with the grief and loss of her mother, decides to play this game. She asks the spirit to talk to her, and something definitely flowed into Mia. But what we realize later in the film is what flowed into her seems like it stuck around, and things just get worse from there. Now, Sophie Wilde, the Australian actress who plays Mia in the film, she did a very good job capturing Mia as this meek character who's desperately trying to communicate with her deceased mother. As she's maneuvering through the story, you can clearly see Mia's descent into chaos. And you can see the effects of Mia's risky behavior and how it damages her friendships. In the film, although naive, Mia was still a 17-year-old girl, and who wouldn't be desperate to try to communicate with their family members who have passed on? Now, this movie had everything to satisfy a horror lover. It had jump scares, it had creepy characters, ghostly figures, and just a menacing, insidious vibe of the spirits all around. Now, Mia, of course, becomes obsessed with this idea of talking to people on the other side because her main goal is to try to communicate with her deceased mother. But of course, things go way too far. Now, this film was directed by Australian director Michael Philippou, and this movie had everything that you'd possibly want as a horror lover. Personally, I identified with Mia because she was meek and she seemed like a friendly girl. However, she was dealing with so much stress and heartache from losing her mom. She had trouble connecting with her father and also being around with her friends. Even at the party, before everything happened, Mia seemed very isolated. But of course, with her being at this party, she was desperate to try to have that communication with her mother. One thing I enjoyed about the film is you saw the slow descent of Mia being this meek, naive person, becoming stronger, trying to fight what's on the other side. Now, these dangerous spirits play a significant role in the film. I really love how it was done, and of course the lighting and terror that lingered in the background. Now, Talk to Me had a $4.5 million budget, and on opening weekend, it made $36.5 million. With these growing numbers, it was only evident that Talk to Me would get a sequel, and it will be happening quite soon. Now, I love that this was an Australian film, but it was brought to the US, and I'm dying to see more films that are similar to this or just as airy come from the land down under. I noticed that was a trend throughout this movie is since you're dealing with teenagers, it was emphasizing the whole idea of peer pressure. Being pressured to do this particular thing and communing with the spirits on the other side. It was a lot of, are you tough enough to do this? Can you handle this type of thing? So that's what egged a lot of these teenagers on so they can communicate with the other side. Now, there's of course a risk to it because holding the embalmed hand for more than 90 seconds can cause that spirit to essentially stay and inhabit that living body, which is a whole other nightmare within the film. One thing I did enjoy about Talk to Me is it made you think, what if you had the opportunity to communicate with a loved one that was behind the veil? Would you take that chance? I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. Would you want to communicate with the loved one on the other side? Or are you willing to look the other way on this one? I think if given the chance, many of us would try to communicate with a loved one, as did Mia in this movie. And I think with Mia being naive and desperately trying to communicate with her mother, she wanted some clarity and also she wanted some closure regarding her mother's passing. And I think anyone in that predicament would want to communicate with someone from the beyond. Now, I'm definitely excited to see what they're going to do with the sequel of Talk to Me. I'm actually not sure what to expect this time, but I want to see where did that embalmed hand end up. Now, a big character in the film is actually the embalmed hand that they hold on to for 90 seconds. The hand is actually a powerful medium's hand that was embalmed and encased in plaster. That's how they were able to communicate with the other side and essentially walk between worlds. However, as we know and we've seen before in the Conjuring movies, that communicating with the other side, that you can be easily tricked and other things can creep in besides the actual spirits that you're looking for, like demons or evil spirits. On a scale out of 10, I give Talk to Me a solid 7. Talk to Me was intriguing, it was interesting, it was creepy, and also the ghosts were done in a great manner. Now, prepare yourself for the twist at the end and let me know what you thought about the movie Talk to Me, or if you're going to check it out in theaters. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.